Kreeeepers! What's up, you crazy creeps? It is Klearski. I am back. Today we are creeping around Northwest Portland to start. Today we're gonna get into some old stomping grounds of a famous musician that was from, well, not from here originally, but spent most of his years in Portland, Elliot Smith, that's right. And I'm standing right in front of Coffee People, and I'll tell you as to why I chose to start the day here. But first things first, let's go in and get some coffee. As you can see up top here on the sign, Jim and Patty's Coffee People. So here is the original Coffee People that actually started out in this house up here on 23rd or 22nd, I believe. And then we moved to 23rd and Hoyt, where I actually worked. And now this is the new location here, right on Northwest, what is it, 22nd. And they've got some of the original artwork too. This was actually at the 23rd location for a while. And also I'm out shooting a vlog today because Elliot Smith, the famous musician, he actually used to hang out at the 23rd location too, so I'm going to do the kind of the Elliot Smith tie. He went to Lincoln High School as well.
Oh, I'm aware. We used to hang out at the same coffee shop.
Really?
Street.
That's so cool.
Back in the old days, and his friends were the baristas there. And I didn't know him, but it was the kind of place where you came in, if there was a seat at your table and there were no others, you just...
Exactly. Exactly. That's old school Portland.
Chit chat, but it's
so cool. It's like a community of family that really never met. Oh, here, look. Here's the actual 23rd.
Cobblestone.
Right here, guys.
All those places.
That's so cool.
I forget his name. Yeah.
That's so cool. Hey, thanks for sharing, bro. It's nice to meet you. You said it was Matt?
Yes.
Hey, good to see you, and thanks for sharing the memories.
Kreeeper.
The Creeper on YouTube. Nice meeting you, bro. Have a good day. Alright guys, so got our coffee here, and I am stoked. So the reason why I wanted to come get coffee here, if you guys can look closely at the emblem there, Jim and Patty have been rocking this emblem for so long. I'll tell you more about it here in just a moment when we get up to our next location. Alright, I have to say, so we're walking up Northwest 23rd now. We just left 22nd from Jim and Patty's, which I will always know it as Coffee People. And the reason why we're walking now up 23rd is because the original, well, not the very first original location, but I think it was the actual second or maybe third. They started out at the Saturday market, moved into that little house, and then their third location was up here on 23rd. And this location was actually one of the locations that Elliot Smith was known to hang out at a ton of times, get his coffee and just kind of hang back. As you heard the gentleman there, Matt, in the now new Jim and Patty's, was kind of telling us how a lot of his band members, and including Elliot himself, he said he didn't know him, but he definitely saw him hanging out there. So we're going to go up here and kind of just recreate one of the photos that I was able to find. And the reason why I'm doing this today is because a lot of folks remember Elliot and his music, which was really kind of pulled at people's heartstrings. A lot of people remember him from the Good Will Hunting soundtrack with his Oscar-winning song Miss Misery. And so his music was very kind of like light and soft-spoken. He had a different style at the time. A lot of the alternative music was making its way into the airplays and whatnot. But Elliot kind of found his own style, and a lot of people just kind of remember him as a soft-spoken, kind of, I guess, I don't know how you would word it, just kind of his own style. Maybe not so much grunge or upbeat. So I'm going to recreate some of the funner times and funner pictures and some of the articles that I read about, Elliot's friends. A lot of people don't remember him as the fun, joking Elliot Smith that he was. So today we're going to go to a bunch of his stomping grounds and basically just recreate some of the pictures and talk about his life. So stay tuned. So right here, directly behind me on Northwest 23rd and Hoyt, this was actually the location to the Coffee People that Elliot would hang out at. I actually worked here for about 3 years, and man, probably the best times of my life. This has such good feels to it when I stand here. All the great people that I met, Never actually met Elliot Smith, but I met the cartoonist that we actually visited his grave not too long ago, Mr. Callahan. And man, just some of the funnest times. But right here, this was Coffee People, Northwest 23rd and Hoyt. Such good times. And like I said, right over here on the sidewalk is where we would all hang out. And Elliot Smith was known to hang out front here too. We're gonna recreate one of the photos that I found online. And right out front here along this little walkway was a bunch of tables. They've now moved them to this side, but back in the day they were right here, and a ton of folks would hang out front, including Elliot Smith. And this would have been the shot right about here. You would have seen Elliot standing right about here where I am. And if you look out, you can actually see in the picture the whole side of this building here on the corner. You can see the telephone pole really well, and also these trees. And we're gonna recreate the picture right now. That's why I stopped and got the coffee. So right about here is where Elliot would have been standing doing the old rock bullhorns. And if you look closely at the picture that I will insert here, if you look directly behind Elliot in the picture, you can see, like I said, the side of this building here. This pole, you can actually see the yellow paint on the street. And if you look closely in Elliot's hand, you can actually see the old school Coffee People with Jim and Patty that was on the cup back then. They've still used their original logo. They've just had to, you know, had to change up their wording and stuff. But that's pretty darn cool. That happened right here. And Elliot was known to hang out in this spot, kind of giving the bullhorns with this coffee. That is so cool. The camera would have been placed a little bit back farther, closer to the building, but Elliot Smith would have been standing right here holding this cup of Coffee People, which is now, like I said, Jim and Patty's, and rocking the bullhorn. Nice. All right, guys, just left 23rd, and I hoofed it up here to the, well, newer, right behind me here. You can see they're doing a ton of, well, let me get up here a little better. You guys will be able to see, as you can see here, they are doing a ton of construction here. This is actually going to be the new Lincoln High School. And right up front here, well, not up front, but directly in front of us is the facade of the old school, which I'm not 100% sure if they're going to completely tear down. But I wanted to come up here and document this location as well. Elliot Smith went to school here. And if you peek the camera in the window, we've vlogged up here a couple of times for some different Simpsons things and Matt Groening's high school and things like that. But there's actually a placard inside the main doors. I'm going to see if we can maybe document it. I've had it on video before from another creep that we've done a couple years ago, but I kind of want to document it just in case it does get removed or torn down completely. So let's go in here and check it out, see if we can still see it. As you can see, they are doing a ton of work. And since last time we were here, they've actually got this fence set up. But here is Elliot Smith's high school, Lincoln High School, right here. This is the old building. Directly across the street will be all the brand new school. What looks pretty dang impressive. But if I can remember, right through these doors here is a placard from when Elliot went to school here. Let's go see if we can maybe peek the camera in just for a minute and get a look before all this is history. I drank most of it.
Oh, okay.
Wow, look at this, you guys. This is so nice of them. They're actually going to let me in so I can actually get a really good shot of this. Thank you so much. This is so cool that he went to school here. And as you guys can see, this was put in here by Lincoln High School. And it actually reads, "I'm never going to know you now, but I'm going to love you anyhow." So if you guys chime in the comment section and let me know what your favorite Elliot Smith song is, or if you recognize that little quote. But if you can see, they're born 1969, graduated Lincoln High School 1987. Unfortunately, he did pass away in 2003, but that's a pretty darn good depiction of Elliot himself. And so I definitely wanted to document this before the building, you know, was torn down. They're probably going to keep the placard, obviously. But there you have it. Lincoln High School, his old stomping grounds. They've been so good to me here over the years and letting me document things. That's actually where we met Mr. Bailey, Matt Groening's teacher. But here you go, you guys. One final look kind of from the inside here of Lincoln before all this is torn down as well. And we're going to go to the next spot over in Southeast Portland and talk a little bit more about some of the good stuff from Elliot Smith. All right, you crazy creeps. Just got into Southeast Portland and we are creeping up to the original recording studio that Elliot used and basically worked at, helped create, even as far as, you know, painting it and basically just making a studio that they can play in. It has been unfortunately torn down, but we're gonna go and show you guys exactly where that studio would have sat. And also I found some pictures of Elliot inside doing some painting and some studio work, getting the place all basically hooked up. They said it was very low budget at the time, but it worked, you know. They were able to do some recordings. So we're gonna head up to where the studio would have sat, right here off of 19th and Southeast Morrison. All right, you guys, we're getting close. I think I said 18th and Morrison. It's more like 19th. We are on the corner of 19th Avenue right now in Morrison. And like I just said, this studio is no longer here. I actually remember seeing it going by here a ton of times when I actually used to take the bus from Southeast all the way up into Northwest to actually work at the Coffee People. But right here, right across the street where these newer like apartment slash condos, right next to this house right here was the little studio. It would have sat right about where this fence is, right here off of Morrison. You can see this is now the Buckman Court Apartments, but right in the picture the little studio would have sat right about here, and with the iconic blue door. I totally remember seeing the blue door, which was ironic about that color. I actually found some pictures of Elliot, you know, basically starting the studio, getting it all set up. But this was the original recording studio for Jackpot Records. So like I said, the studio would have sat basically right here. 1998, Larry Crane and Elliot Smith opened Jackpot together, and we began he went on to say, Larry Crane was quoted to say, "We began to record some of Elliot's songs and his basic tracks, Baby Britain, Amity, and ended up being overdubbed on his next album, Bled White." So they were basically tracked as demos here in the recording studio, the original Jackpot Records, and then went on to make one of his featured albums. But that would have been it, right about where this fence is, right about where the side of this building was, the little studio. Jackpot Records would have been nudged right there. Pretty cool. All right, you guys, so we are still creeping through Southeast. We are getting closer to our next location. Which makes this location really cool is that Elliot Smith actually lived in this location for a while and actually recorded a ton of his songs. I believe Roman Candle, one of his songs, was recorded actually in the basement of this location, which is right here in Southeast, only about a half mile from the original recording studio, which I thought was pretty cool. You basically could just walk there. But we're getting close. We are now on 27th and Taylor. We've got a couple more blocks up, and then I'm going to show you guys, which we've actually videoed and vlogged, did a whole vlog on this a while back. So if you guys go back and check out another vlog that I did on Elliot Smith, you'll definitely see the location and hear a little bit more of detail. But I thought since I was so close to the original recording studio, I may stop by the house and see, you know, where all this other music was taking place. And like I said, my main focus of the day was to kind of show, you know, the lighter side of Elliot. A lot of people remember him and his music being kind of I think you'd say melancholy. but he was a very fun person. He was known to have a good time and had a lot of friends and people that really admired him. You know, just outside of his music and stuff, was known to joke around, and it's nice comparing these pictures and kind of reminiscing of the past. All right, guys, we made it. Directly in front of us here is the old stomping grounds, one of the old stomping grounds as well, of Elliot Smith. This was the house that he lived in and actually recorded a lot of his music right down in the basement. And as you can see, it's a pretty big place. Where we just came from was only about maybe 4 or 5 blocks down was the original studio. But here is his house right here in the heart of Southeast Portland. And this is just actually one of the locations that he was known to play music in. We're going to head into a little bit deeper southeast. We're going to head up to Woodstock next and take a look at another place that Elliot lived and played his music as well. So we're walking down Hawthorne here, and I noticed Jackpot Records. These guys actually aren't associated with the original Jackpot recording studio, but I thought I'd peek in here real quick and see if they have any Elliot Smith on vinyl. Looks like they've got a ton of records, so let's check it out. Yeah, they pretty much have every album you could think of. And you guys, look, I found it. Very cool. There you have it, you guys. There is his actual album there. That is so cool. From the Basement in the Hill. This is the one he recorded in LA. Coast to Coast, Pretty, Don't Go Down, Strung Out Again. Nice, that is so cool. And $28.99, not bad. Such an iconic picture too there too. That is so cool. All right, guys, let's creep into Woodstock and check out another location of Elliot Smith. Alright guys, just got off the bus. We are on Southeast Woodstock now. We're going to creep up to another Elliot Smith location. In fact, he lived at this location for a while before he moved into the one we were just at. Alright guys, we found it. I went up a couple blocks extra on accident, but here we stand at 4004 Southeast Woodstock, which is now the Portland Family Health Clinic. But right here, this was one of Elliot Smith's former residents, and I was actually able to find a picture, an old school picture with Elliot himself on it, and it actually has his address. I think it's an old ID card, and it states 4004 Southeast Woodstock. So there you have it. This is another one of his stomping grounds, and in fact, I found another picture of Elliot. He would have been standing right about here, and if you look closely, you can actually see this house here with the big front porch and the windows really well in the picture. And it's basically one of my favorite Elliot Smith pictures, so I wanted to save the best for last, but the picture would have taken place right about there, and we're gonna go recreate that now. So like I said, I wanted to kind of save the best for last because I love this picture of Elliot, and today's been such a fun day kind of retracing his old stomping grounds. But if you look right about here is where the picture would have taken place, because in fact right behind Elliot you can see his old house really well in the picture, and it would have been right about here. He would have been standing doing the kind of really funny picture, the more kind of humorous side of Elliot, which I kind of wanted to focus more on today. But this is it. This was the Elliot Smith's Portland Stomping Grounds video location, and that picture would have happened right about here. He'd have been doing the classic funny Elliot Smith photo. But that's gonna do it from Portland, Oregon. I love you guys very much for always tuning in and creeping with. Make sure you guys leave down below your favorite Elliot Smith memory or song, or just say hello in general. I always like to hear what you guys have to say. But that's definitely been a journey today, and I appreciate you guys creeping with. Make sure you guys if you did enjoy this vlog, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. You can also ring that bell. That way when I creep, you guys will be the first to creep. But that's gonna do it from Portland, Oregon. I love you guys very much. Creeper out for now. Peace.